Fusion YGO. You know, when I changed the name to Fusion YGO a few years back, I didn't think I'd be sitting here a few years later playing a fusion strategy. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna fuse on into this one. Let's get right into it. We're playing branded. Let's talk about it. Starting off with my branded list, we're starting with the boy, who has become an interruption in the current iterations. We're playing 3 copies of Fallen of Albaz. This is needed to be an interaction point now in the deck, mainly because on normal or special summon, being able to fusion summon with your opponent's board as a super poly thing is really powerful. And with the losses that this deck has taken in things like Branded Expulsion and in the way the formats have evolved, having 3 Fallen of Albaz, I used to think was a mistake, and now I know it's not. 3 copies of Aluber, the Gesture of Despia. Look, this card's been out for almost 2 years now. It's the Searcher of the deck. It gets you your boyfriend. It gets you Branded Fusion. But yeah, it does double as a graveyard interruption, which is pretty neat. In simplified game states, this card can come in clutch out of nowhere if people don't know its second effect. So 2 copies of Blazing Cartesia, the Virtuous. I know that there's some people that have cut this down to 1 again. I think this is a 2 of. It allows you to make it so Aluber doesn't lose to infinite impermanence. You can summon it for free as well off of things like Fusion Deployment. So, with that in mind, Blazing Cartesia is a 2 of, kind of necessary. We are also playing 1 copy of the Guiding Quem. Quem on special summon is able to dump a Fallen of Albaz or a card that mentions it from the deck to the graveyard. And if a card leaves the extra deck, doesn't specify yours, except during the damage step, you can target a Fallen of Albaz or a monster that mentions it in the graveyard, except itself, and special summon it. We're also playing a single copy of Springen's Kit. I am playing Sprint, so it makes sense. We are playing Despian Tragedy as a 1 of. I love this card, especially in grind games, because you're able to banish it off of its own effect to be able to add 1 back. Super important. 1 ad libitum. I've only used its first effect once, ever, playing this deck for almost 2 years now, which kind of makes me laugh. 1 copy of Albion the Shrouded Dragon. It's an advantage card of your deck. And 1 copy of Tri-Brigade Mercurier. We are also playing 3 copies of the Boyfriend, Branded Fusion. 3 copies of Branded Opening. This card's insane. This card has become an interruption now, which is kind of hilarious. Because for a while it was just like cuttable to 2, or cut Aluber to 2. But now this card becomes an interruption thanks to Guiding Quem, which is super cool. 1 copy of Branded Lost. I know there's certain lists that are cutting it. I have said since the beginning that Branded Lost is a dumb card. Because it prevents your opponent from interacting with your fusion summons as long as it's the last thing in chain. 1 copy of Branded in red. It's really strong. I don't know what else to say. Branded Banishment and Branded Retribution. Banishment being a super poly that's searchable as a trap card, really nice. Retribution is a counter trap, and I've actually used its effects, all of them, and its spell trap or monster effect to negate a special summoning effect is really strong. It's really good in the mirror match. Because if they try Branded Fusion and you have Retribution set, you can negate the Branded Fusion, which is crazy. And that's going to do it for the branded cards. Next up, supplemental stuff. We got a Bysteel Lubellion and a Bysteel Saronir. Yeah, these are just really strong. There's a reason they're here. Lubellion lets you activate Branded Lost from the deck. So if you get into it, it's very, very nice. If you wanted to, you could up this to 42 cards and play Branded Beast, and it gives you another interaction point, but I don't think it's necessary. As well as Saronir lets you dump another Branded Speller Trap from deck to grave, which is really strong. Then continuing the supplementals, we're playing 3 copies of Fusion Deployment. Card's insane. Lets you summon Blazing Cartesia from the deck. Really important. Playing 3 copies of Super Poly. Playing 1 copy of Foolish Burial. We are playing 3 Crossout and the Called By, and that's because we lose to things like Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, and we can lose to things such as Infinite Impermanence. So we're playing those in the main, playing 4 hand traps, 5 if you count the Saronir, but we play enough board breakers such as Fusion Deployment, Super Poly, that it doesn't end up mattering too much, and we are capable of breaking boards with it. Moving on to the extra deck. We are playing the new boy. We are playing Albion the Sanctifier Dragon. This card's insane. It's just a big, it's the replacement for Dragoon, because I don't think Dragoon is particularly powerful anymore, because the Dark Magician is a brick, so we don't want a brick on it. We're playing 2 Albion because it's the one we need to make in the normal, like, branded combos more often than not. and it's the one that sets them, so it's really strong. We're playing a single Rinbroom. This card is actually an interruption off of Mirror Jade, so you can Mirror Jade dump this, then use its effect Engrave, summon the Fallen of Albaz, fusion summon something else, and just kind of continue. So Rinbroom is incredibly important. We are also playing Sprind. Sprind is really, really critical, especially to play through things like Retaliating Seed or Contact Seed, or any other card that special summons itself. You can just fusion summon into this, which is really nice. One Lubellion. We're also playing 2 copies of Mirror Jade. Yes, we are playing 2. Even though Arise Heart is now, at 1 and Diablosis is at 0, I still want to be able to make this card out of nowhere, and having a second one is incredibly important. We're playing 1 copy of Gragunoil, the Dust Dragon. This card allows you to dump cards from the deck or from the extra deck to gain advantage off of it. It can let you summon like Quarities for free, or it can let you summon Guiding Quem from the deck for free because it's a Dogmatica card as well. So Gragunoil is incredibly important. It's so powerful, and it's absolutely insane that this card is even legal. We are playing 1 Despian Quarities and a Masquerade. If you have Luluwaith, I think Luluwaith might be better than Quarities at this point, but Quarities isn't bad. It's dropped to 0, it's huge. And Masquerade is just really strong. Burning people for 600 damage is no joke. Your super poly targets are Mud Dragon and Garura. Garura is also a dump target off of Gragunoil, so you can get a free draw off of it, which comes in clutch in a lot of situations. Then we're playing 1 Dragos Stapelia and 1 Guardian Chimera. These cards are nuts. They get you back into games that you should be losing, and it's incredibly important to be able to play them. That is going to do it for my Branded Despia Fallen of Albaz Fusion Special. If you like, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, all that good stuff. I want you to be a part of the pre-10,000 as well, but pre-1,000 subscribers. This deck is super fun. I definitely think it's probably a high rogue tier, high tier 1.5 point deck. It's one of my favorites. It's probably the deck I'm going to play competitively for the format. So until next time, lads, good fun. Have luck.